Today, in our ongoing Saw miniseries, we discuss the fifth installment, Saw 5.
Have you learned enough to trust me?
Released in 2008 to mixed reviews and mixed fan reaction. In this installment, we catch up with Agent Strahm and the police force as a new game sets foot, this time by sociopath Detective Hoffman. I will admit, I look at this entry through rose-coloured glasses as I had a great cinematic experience watching this, but upon further rewatches, it really doesn't hold my attention. I find myself so bored out of my skull. Even the so-called shocking ending with the walls crushing in just doesn't provide the thrills that I come to expect with an annual Saw Splatterfest. So, BP, Coop, I'm interested to know, what are your thoughts on this franchise?
I actually really liked Strahm as a character. I honestly like it any time somebody is actually intelligent enough to get out of these traps. Seldom happens, but good on him for sticking a pen in his neck and getting out of that water trap. I thought that I liked the idea of that. And of course, we kick it off again straight away in this movie. It's another apprentice and they're making traps that people can't get out of. Half of this movie is they're just trying to make you give a shit about Hoffman. Never going to happen. And the other half is just really brutal traps and death. This was the last one that I saw at the movies. I only saw 2 of them in the movies. I actually think from memory, I think I saw the third one with you, Justin. I think you'd actually already seen it. I think you were going back for round 2 to see Saw 3. But I actually saw Saw 5 when I was on a trip and I was up in Brisbane. I think I was like 14 or 15 at the time. And basically like a friend's parent was like, no, they can come into the movies, like basically sneak them in so they can watch this. Because I think it was R-rated. Ooh, I'm going to see an R-rated movie. It was just like a fun time. But so I remember enjoying it more the first time, but I remember watching it back again because I've seen it a couple of times since. And every time I watch this movie, I enjoy it less and less. The gore looks really good. I'll give it that. I'll be honest. Once it gets to like 5 and 6, I start to get them all mixed up. This is the one with the fire backstory. Yeah, with the fire inspector. And the nail
real
estate in each room. Yep. I do like the idea in this movie of if they all would have worked together, they all could have made it through without having to basically bleed to death right at the end, which I think at least one of them does. So that's cool. Kind of comes back to the idea of in Saw 2 with the multiple ways of getting out of traps. That sort of extra thought. There's at least a little bit of that in this movie, at least. It is kind of real on the nose in this. It's not you have to pay attention and notice it in Saw 2. It's literally part of the storyline. So who knows?
It's amazing how through all this adversity we managed to stick together.
If there's one thing decent folk do, it's stick together.
I hate it when the waffles stick together.
Sticking together is what good waffles do.
I really don't like this movie. I think it's like a filler in the whole series. The opening trap, like we talked about in number 3, I think it is, with the rib cage. I just feel like that opening trap with the pendulum was just a thing to get people in to watch the movie. And I'm pretty sure it was like heavily sort of promoted in the trailer, but wasn't showing exactly what it is, but it was heavily pushed as like, you need to watch this movie to see what happens. I just found that over the top. I don't know if anyone noticed. I got sort of critical by the end. I was just watching little things with editing and logos, and the opening logo comes from behind the TV and comes out, but it just looks really cheap. And I thought of the Final Destination, the 4th film, straight away. I just thought it's the same vibe going on.
Yeah,
I thought the CGI was pretty shitty.
I don't like it. No, I don't. Never did. I don't like it. I don't like anything.
And the whole movie was just a bit The one trap that really annoyed me was the glass one where they had to knock them down to get the keys or something. Is this a trap? Yeah. This is just someone whacking a glass jar to get a key out. I'm like, it's not really anything dramatic. I was sort of just, the whole film I kind of just don't really like, and it's kind of forgettable to me.
The ensemble cast in this was pretty bad.
Yeah.
From probably like 3 onwards, I think a lot of the people getting killed or the ones in the traps.
Yeah.
It gets pretty bad.
And it's also that thing of like, it's now the 5th film and we're like, we're doing another like group session here. Like, let's move on. Let's do something else, something more innovative.
I get so sick of that. And it's almost in every movie. It's Jigsaw. Who's Jigsaw? Oh, don't you watch the news? I get so sick of that interaction.
Yeah. He wants us to follow the rules. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We're meant to listen.
And there's always that one obnoxious one.
They're always fucking stupid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that writer guy. He was like the British writer guy.
Yeah, Flog.
Oh, my God.
Like you said, Justin or Sean, whoever was saying how when you find out at the end, you're like, oh, okay, they all could have survived if they worked together. You didn't think of that at first. Makes it obvious, especially in the trap where they've got to go into the tunnel. And I remember always looking at the tunnels going, they're quite big. They could fit someone else in them.
Yeah. I was watching it with my partner. I'm not sure if she'd seen that one before. Which was like they could easily fit more than one person in there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, pretty.
But it's kind of cool. It reminds me of number 6 where it's all related. Everyone sort of knows someone because it's like the real estate and the property and everyone sort of is intertwined with it and had caused that issue. So, yeah. I mean, the characters are forgettable and Hoffman's just walking around and
he's just there being the fly on the wall.
And I think there's backstory going on there from like 3 or 4. And I was kind of like, oh, here we go. I'm like, I don't really remember this. Okay. And I think Jill was in there maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, she is.
Jill is. Where do we stand on Jill Tuck as a character? Because like,
I don't care for her.
It just kind of came out of nowhere with like in number 3 there was, is it either as he's dying or as he's getting that bit of his skull removed, he's thinking about Jill, and that's the first time we see her or hear of her, and it's just like nice imagery of her in a park and all that kind of shit. And it's just, I feel like it's just like a really bad attempt at trying to humanize John Kramer. And they keep trying to add these little things to make him more complicated. And each little thing that they add to his character almost takes away from it every single time. Not a great character, very much a shoe-in character in a lot of ways, I think.
There's so many improvements that could have been made to this movie to at least make it a bit more entertaining. One of my biggest issues with it is the whole emphasis on Hoffman. I'm not saying they need to add a new character, but they could have easily brought back Amanda. They could have brought back Tobin Bell to do more, maybe flashbacks of just them two. I feel like if the storyline concentrated on just them two, it would have been more engaging because we've been following them since Saw 1.
Yeah.
And Saw 5, I don't actually remember any scenes, like whether it's archival footage that was being used. So what we learn in filmmaking school is if you want to make audiences engaged, you show it through visuals. You don't use what's called exposition to talk about it. So how they're all talking, like in the British guys, like, oh, yes, she was the fire chief inspector for this company in 2001. Why would we need a character to explain that? It's so boring and stupid. I wish they would have taken the route that Saw 2 did where like they had the picture of Daniel, the Donnie Wahlberg's son in the movie, and then that's like the catalyst for how everyone knows each other.
You start looking at the budget of what the film cost to make, and then you start wondering, well, where did all the money go? And I feel like in this one, it probably went to the water cube, the glass coffin at the end, and probably the pendulum.
Marketing, baby.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like this trap, like you said. Like I'm like, wow, we're whacking jars to get keys out. I'm like, that's not even the realm of what a Saw trap should be. And then like the electrocution one, the bathtub, I'm like, just a lot of it felt very. It felt like they ran out of ideas, not trying to like connecting it and, getting into a cage to explain to avoid the room getting blown apart sort of thing. I was just felt very lazy. No one really knew what they were doing.
And once they were past the first room, it was kind of like, oh, well, I know what the deal is now. Next room. Boring. Yeah. And with the glass thing as well, like you said, it's not a trap. It's a shit idea. They could have even had something where someone gets glass in their eye and they can't see for a bit, and then like the stakes are higher and like, oh, they're going to be able to recover in time to find the key, but they didn't. They were just smashing it. There was no real repercussions of the fact that there was glass falling from the ceiling.
Yeah,
and that was the whole idea of the trap. So
you know what I don't get? Yeah, the whole emphasis being like, oh, they were connected because it was the junkie that set fire, but the town planner and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Not one trap involved fire.
The end of the cage one, it did, but that was kind of because the bombs went off, wasn't it?
Yeah, but even then, like I don't get fire from it. I would have thought for sure, even like the first trap maybe would have been, just throwing out stupid ideas, like maybe it's like a blowtorch or something. There's numerous things they could have done. Instead, there was no connection. It was just a bunch of really poorly made traps. I will say, though, with the characters, first of all, the acting was very subpar. But I knew the British journalist guy was going to be killed because they made him out to be like the arsehole character. But then I liked the switch when it came to the bathtub room where they killed, I think her name's Luba.
The girl.
Yeah, because like they all turned on each other. And I was like, that's literally what would happen in like a realistic Saw thing. They're not going to be like,
Do go ahead then. Oh no, you first. Wouldn't dream of it. Too kind, really, I insist. Wouldn't be proper of me. I appreciate your courtesy. Likewise.
when there were 5 cables, I was like, why are there specifically 5?
Yeah.
Like, that would have to mean they all had to work together.
And didn't they say towards the end of the film, the keys were all the same anyway? I'm like, you fucking...
Why, what are you, stupid? What's the matter with you? I apologize. What's the matter with you? Sorry. What the fuck is the matter with you?
Strahm getting crushed at the end with the walls, I was like, what the fuck kind of hocus pocus bloody 2000s telenovela bullshit is this? The original idea as well was that Hoffman gets in the glass box. The room was supposed to fill up with water to mimic the earlier trap at the start where he's stuck in the water cube and the cube fills up. Now he's in a room that fills up. That felt more cohesive. It felt more, shit, like he can't get out of this. But the walls closing in, and I was just like, really? Like,
But then you wouldn't be able to end it with the blood on the camera like that. Fuck Hoffman.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole movie is rather forgettable. I remember seeing that at Nambucca-Heads at the cinema there and being like underwhelmed at the end. I'm like, but yeah, it's sort of like the turning point in the series. I think after 4, because there was a new director as well, David Hackle, I think it was, and he only stuck around for that movie, then left. So I'm just like, great, okay.
Some interesting bits of trivia too. So the writers for Saws 4, 5, 6, and 7, they actually won this project in America called Project Greenlight, which is used for, like, there was a Project Greenlight Australia, but no fucking clue who won that, because typically most of these directors don't go on to do anything. But like this screenwriting pair, they produced another franchise called Beast, which has mixed reviews. I'm not saying Saw makes like billions and billions of dollars at the box office, but why would you give the writing duties to a bunch of newbies? It'd be like coming up to me and being like, oh, you made a video 8 years ago, write Final Destination 6. It's not going to be good. So was it studio interference? Was it like backroom deals? Or did they just offer a discounted price for the script? But I just don't feel it's actually worked.
I do wonder if they had 5, 6, 7 greenlit from like number 4, because I feel like each of these movies was sort of treated as if this may be the last one. And so like when we're talking about these backstories coming in, I think they're scrambling because they're sort of like, well, if this is going to be number 5, it's going to be the final one. We've got to like just put all this stuff in there and then, that's it.
Saw 3D or Saw the final chapter or Saw 7, whatever you want to call it. When that came out, I didn't believe that was going to be the last one. I was convinced that the year after there was going to be Saw Origins or Saw New Beginning. Like, I thought it was just going to go on forever. It felt like that. And it was almost a parody at that point of just like, you know how in Back to the Future 2, there's the joke about like Jaws 11. People were making those jokes about Saw. That it was just going to go on and on and on.
I think even by
I
think even by 5, a lot of the fan base just dropped off, and I think it was really just the hardcore Saw fans that were sticking around.
At that time too, I don't think anyone expected found footage to come back because that was such a niche, anachronistic medium where found footage was just relegated to like handheld cameras. But YouTube, I feel like, kind of kicked off that trend as well. I would spend so many hours being like a dumbass, like 14, 15, 16-year-old being like, real ghosts caught on tape and like watching really fake videos. But it was always like a booming interest in that. So when Paranormal Activity came out, I think people were ready to move on to a new franchise, but it's interesting seeing the critical reaction from the studios who made Saw 6, Saw 5, Saw 7, and they're like, it's not fair. Our movies are great. People just don't want to engage with Saw because they like Paranormal Activity. And it's like, no, it's because people didn't want Hoffman. We didn't want 50,000 rewrites of the same trilogy. If you're being offered a choice, hey, do you want to go see the 6th installment of a movie or the first installment of a movie that had one of the best marketing campaigns I've seen for a movie, you're obviously going to go with the media hype, even though it's like
absolutely.
Yeah, I think everyone was just tired after 5, and even like I was sort of just like, I'll watch any sequel that comes out, but I hate it's just they're getting churned out. It's just like, like we said earlier, when you sort of say to someone like, I'm going to go see Saw 5, and they're like, another one? You're like, yeah, There's another one. There's another like 4 after this.
The gimmick wears off after a while.
Yeah, it's that sort of like Paranormal Activity obviously had that same fate after a while, like after 3 or 4.
Yep.
And I think people just get exhausted with it. It's just like the same crap, different year. And I think it's kind of probably good that Paranormal Activity sort of came in and maybe put 4 on notice to be like, look, we need to up our game because we're losing money here. I have a feeling even with 3 or might have been 4, it got confirmed, it got greenlit for 5 or 6 after like the opening weekend. Because they made on like 10 to 20 million and they're making like 40 million the opening weekend. So they're like, well, we've made double already.
Yeah.
They're just like, let's do another one.
I mean, why not? I mean, if they're making double money each time, then why would they not just do up another script?
But it's also that you've got to have that balance of not tarnishing the brand of the film. And sometimes it's good to bow out. In all honesty, you probably should have bowed out after 3. And I mean, most people probably would have been happy with it because you sort of look at what's come out from after that, 4, 5, 6, 7, then Jigsaw, then Spiral. And not really, I mean, a lot of people don't really have a favorite in any of those.
Yeah. I haven't met anyone whose favorite Saw movie is Jigsaw. I'd be a little concerned for that.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny looking at the reception views of it, and one of the reviews just pretty much said, like, I'm not sure a diehard fan for Jigsaw, no one else would be watching this movie. And they said, like, even diehard fans probably wouldn't be satisfied with it. And I'm like, damn right.
Exactly. We'll get to our, I'm sure, probably scathing review of Jigsaw, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Thanks, Bags, for joining me today. In our next episodes, we discuss Saw 6 and Saw 3D, also known as Saw the Final Chapter, aka The Trucks Come Alive. Listeners, feel free to rate us, hate us, follow us, scam us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find us. If you loved our podcast, you are way too kind to us. And if you didn't like this episode, I mean, it's Saw 5. I don't blame you. Bye.
I'm smiling on the inside. I feel that I have a responsibility to the fashion community.
Woke up feeling like Posh Spice. Only wear black and I'm not nice. Get what I want, I don't ask twice.